Claude doesn't know who you are, it forgets important context, it stops when you close your laptop, and if you give it poor inputs, it can create problems faster than it solves them. Those are the 4 biggest limitations of Claude Code out of the box. They're also the 4 things that power users have found fixes for. So in this video, I'll walk you through each one in order and show you how people turn Claude Code from a chatbot into a system that actually runs meaningful work in your day-to-day. So let's start by talking about what it's like using a fresh Claude Code install. It has no idea who you are, so ask it to write anything and you get competent but very generic outputs that could belong to absolutely anyone. And you end up doing the same thing probably every session, pasting in your tone, your rules, and other context over and over. So that's not useful to anyone. It just speeds up your process of producing generic outputs, which you're going to have to rework anyway. Now, the first fix then is a brand context folder. And if you've already started using Claude Code, it's time to set this up for yourself now. There are 3 core files to start with. The first one is brand voice, or what we call voice profile. It's how you write. It's the core voice DNA for every single thing that you publish. It's your rules and can include real examples of actual content that you produced. The second is your visual identity. Now, this can take many forms, but for example, you can pull all of your design assets into a JSON file or a markdown file, which tells it all the fonts you use, the color scheme that your brand identifies with, and anything else that represents your brand visually. So it's basically your design tokens. And then the third one is positioning. It's who your product is for, or who your audience is, and what you stand for. And we've actually broken down positioning and ideal customer profile, or ICP, into 2 separate files. But think of this as impacting directly every bit of content or project you work on. It's important to understand who you're targeting and how you write to those people. Then your Claude.md or your agents.md, if you're not solely on Claude, just points to those brand context folders. So it doesn't hold absolutely everything. Think of your Claude.md as an index which has pointers to the relevant context at the right time. And the reason we do that is because we don't want to experience context rot, where context degrades as soon as you include too many lines and you're basically overloading the model. So build this brand structure or brand context once, and every session is going to inherit all of that context. So it's effectively context management to the nth degree. Whenever you write some copy, the skill is going to also point to the brand context folder to seek out your voice. It's going to tell it what words you don't use and all of that important information to make the writing more you. Same with all the visual assets, right? It's going to feel like you from the get-go. A clear example for the visual assets is our Instagram page. Look at the last 5 or 6 posts. How consistent do they look? Because we've got a visual design system versus the ones that we were producing before. Now it looks like a brand asset. So what information do you actually want to store inside this brand context folder? Let's go through and quickly point out the most important things inside those 3 files that you would probably pass into 80% of your skills. And these are all things you can set up in around 20 to 30 minutes. And this will give you kind of the 80-20 of being able to pass as much context as possible to make the outputs that you get much higher quality. So let's start with something like the voice profile or voice brief. Firstly, in all of these guides, we want to use them as well as indexes or pointers to other files. So it says, actually, don't use this in isolation. Use it with my audience avatar, my body of work, which is a collection of thoughts that I keep separately. I've developed my platform guides for LinkedIn, school, my YouTube openings, and all of that stuff. So it's important to know not to use this in complete isolation. Then it's going to pull stuff like your core voice DNA. And inside our Agentic Academy, we have a full quiz that basically goes through a series of questions that try and determine this core voice DNA and match samples of writing to the way that you think and your opinions and thoughts. So for example, I speak more like a practical operator, not a guru. So I run an actual business, I ship different things, and I don't want to sell a vision. I want to show people exactly what's possible. So I'm very matter of fact. I don't like to talk around the points. Then we've got specific rules around language. Be specific, don't abstract points of view, etc., etc. So basically a collection of things determine this is exactly the rules on which I write scripts. All of those different things are then fed into different skills like my marketing copywriting skill. And this is coupled then, I've got this separately, but you can have this in the same voice profile with a bunch of examples of content that I've previously done that feed into my voice profile so that we can get it so close to my actual voice that even I think sometimes that I've written those posts. Now you can actually just go to Google and say extract my voice profile quiz and basically find a framework for pulling out your authentic voice and pulling out your voice DNA. Say for example, it could be this one, 13 questions, map your voice DNA. Pull that into a skill, and then the output of that skill is basically one of those brand voice or voice profile documents that feeds into every bit of context wherever you need to produce any written content. Now positioning, on the other hand, is all about different angles in which you could target your ideal customer profile. And again, there are lots of frameworks to extract this, but what you need to do is kind of data dump all the different information about the business, the pain points you target, etc. And then ask Claude Code to help you develop some sort of positioning angles around the way that you write your messaging. So for example, in our Agentic Academy, we are all about having and selling complete plug-in agentic systems that run your business in your voice, as we've already talked about, that basically you can do in a one-line install. But we also want those AI systems to not sound like a robot. We want them to be authentic. So there's another angle which we could take, which is the anti-AI slop angle. And there's a bunch of others that come out of that as well. But what this effectively does is say, we write in this way with our voice profile, and this is who we target or how we position our product to our audience. And then we've separated our ICP, which is actually just exactly who those people are and what pain points they suffer from. And we had a quick look through the visual identity stuff and saw the design tokens in that JSON file. Now we have a separate skill that basically develops your visual identity and helps you pull from various resources that you like or they already have existing. So this includes your headshots or your fonts, and all of these then feed into templates for things like your carousels, your infographics, and any visual asset that you build or share, landing pages, posts, whatever, will basically pull from this visual identity. And that's what makes it really powerful. And that's how you can have consistent context that's managed across all the different files when you work inside Claude Code. So this first part we've covered so far is just about injecting the right context. And then as a result, the quality of the outputs you're going to get is honestly going to 10x just from doing this one step. If you did want to get a quick way to do this, then you can check out the Agentic Academy in the community below. We have skills that help you do this and help you answer the right questions to set up all of this different brand context if you need it. So the next fix is utilizing some recent features from Anthropic, which help you run autonomous loops, meaning your agents will always be on and contactable from absolutely anywhere. So out of the box, Claude Code only works while you're sitting there typing in commands. So as soon as you close that terminal or your laptop, the work effectively stops. There's no schedule, there's no background task going on. So you basically can't get it to carry on without you unless you work with workarounds. So it makes you the bottleneck on every single task that you do, which means it can only ever do as much as you've got time to sit there and supervise it or monitor it. Now there's a few things that serious users are doing to tackle this. First is the most obvious and easiest fix. You can basically switch on auto mode by hitting Shift Tab twice, so it stops asking for your permission for every single safe action. And in the background, this is basically running a classifier that checks each action on your behalf and only stops to ask you when something's genuinely risky. So Claude just gets on with the work, basically. You don't get bothered unless there's a decision that Claude genuinely thinks matters, like deleting your files, connecting to new external systems, etc. It will basically continue to run without you. Now that's brilliant, but if you've worked with Claude Code for a little while, you'll know that it often prematurely completes jobs. And this next thing will help you basically stop it from thinking it's already completed a job and basically run autonomously until it's completely finished. So the feature that we're talking about is /goal, and we can basically set a goal that Claude checks before stopping. So as it sounds, we set a condition or a finish condition that's like, if you haven't met this condition, spin up another agent and continue to work on it. Here's the context from the previous iteration. So we can put absolutely any goal in here, but it's important that we only put goals where there's a fixed condition, fixed measurable condition, and also some exit criteria in case it never reaches those conditions. That's more of a safety check there. That allows you to basically set off a task and you can go and work on something else. Now, there are certain tasks in your business or your day-to-day life that you'd want to run continuously without you ever having to set them off. And we can basically combine goal, as we just saw, with loop or routines. And the major difference between loop and routines is routines we run on a cloud server, but it can basically run for longer than 3 days. Loop, we just set an interval, which has to be less than 3 days, let's say every hour, and then we insert the prompt afterwards, and it's going to set up that recurring job for us, but it's limited to max 3 days. So then we've got the routines, which we can basically say run once a week, and we can spin up a cron schedule for a specific job there, and Claude Code will manage all that infrastructure for us. The most important part is we can set up a routine, but combine it with a set of conditions so that it never stops prematurely. So basically together, they're turning a single instruction into something that's going to run itself until the outcome you asked for occurs, or it hits any of the exit conditions that you set. So a good example of this, and something very measurable, if you've got your own accounting email address, for example. So we could say something like, let's say our accounting process is we get invoices sent to a specific email address, and what we want to do is convert those invoices into line items in a spreadsheet that kind of matches or reconciles our actual transactions to specific emails and invoices. So something very measurable, because we can go through every email. So we can say every invoice email is saved to the right folder. The attachment is uploaded into Google Drive, and the due date is logged in our tracker against our expense line items. And then finally, we file the email to say that this action has been taken. So these are all very tangible results. So as soon as I run that, what it's basically going to do is determine the critical measurements that it needs to understand in order to decide whether this job has been completed or whether it's not been completed. And it's going to understand the tools we have available and any relevant skills as well. So it's basically then going to start working out with that goal exactly what the exit criteria is, so it can actually work on those day after day. And we could set this off to run every single day, once a day, run through all my emails, check it against my expense spreadsheet, and make sure that all invoices are reconciled, leave the ones that aren't, and actually notify me of any that cannot be found in that period. And the important part of the goal here, or the / goal, is that it won't let it stop while a single invoice is still unfiled. It will continue until the inbox is genuinely all processed. And then you can take this even further than we've done so far and make it truly always on. So you can pair Claude Code channels, which is a feature to contact Claude through Telegram and Discord, and then pair it with tmux, which allows you to keep a server always on, put that into a virtual private server so it doesn't even need to live on your device. So you've basically got a machine running all the time elsewhere that you can contact from your mobile phone. And I've got a completely separate video on how to install that, which I'll link down below. And all of this to say, Claude Code now also works when you're not working. So it's able to take actions whilst you're away from your computer. So give Claude Code a large complex task with a one-shot prompt, and the quality, as you might have seen, collapses rapidly. So the longer it runs, the more the context degrades, the more forgetful it gets. And it often declares a half-finished job done, something that goal already solved. So it loses that original objective after it starts to auto-compact, for example. And if you ask it to judge its own work, it thinks it's done a great job always. So it's really biased to monitoring its own work. So the bigger the task, the less you can trust that single window result just working in one instance inside Claude Code inside the terminal. Now, some open source frameworks for planning in particular have helped solve this. Think GSD, Superpowers, and multiple others. But actually Anthropic now shipped some features to approach the problem from a different way, some clever features that help resolve this. So firstly, you can turn up the effort of thinking, which is basically just the number of reasoning tokens that the model is allowed to spend on any given task to think that task through and plan it in a correct way. So when you think that job deserves more thinking, you turn the tokens up so you can choose anywhere between low to extra high and max, and even ultra code, which we'll come to. And then to be honest, it's not even worth mentioning the low and medium because by default it sits on auto, and those smaller tasks are already auto handled quite well. It's just identifying when things are going to be extremely complex and are worth those additional levels of thinking. So for the real monster tasks, you can utilize dynamic workflows, which is a fairly new feature inside Claude Code. And think of this where Claude basically creates its own harness, its own framework for solving your specific task. So it's going to write its own team of agents, each with a clean context and one specific job. So instead of drowning in one overloaded conversation where it loses context, it's basically going to defer to common workflow patterns that it spins off to get that task done. It can use multiple of these workflow patterns together, and it will generate multiple agents, each with an individual job or task that feeds back towards the greater goal. For example, we could use adversarial verification, or Claude Code would choose to use that rather, which would be used to fact check by sending out multiple workers to verify another worker's outputs or another agent's outputs. Or it could use the loop until done method. So this is a pattern that we've already seen inside this /goal function, which is effectively leveraging this workflow pattern underneath the hood. So now those hard structured jobs have a greater chance of being tackled to a higher degree of quality. So now you've got a Claude that knows your business, it's able to run on its own, and it handles big jobs unsupervised to a high degree of quality. So it's easy to think that you should actually just remove yourself from the loop entirely. But where we're at today, I think that's completely wrong. And now this is just my opinion, but full autonomy is not necessarily the goal. The fix for this problem is actually maintaining human checkpoints at the right point and building them in to start with. So in any workflow, find the single point where a mistake actually costs you a lot or the quality needs to be measured or vetted, and put in a human in the loop checkpoint at that point. And you can do this directly by making Claude contact you with the outputs or put them into a specific folder and notify you. And this is actually exactly what we do in our social content carousel system, because we don't want to put out AI slots. So at the important parts, after it's conducted a load of research on the topic you want to write about, it basically outputs a set of proposed carousel slides, or the structure for the carousel slides, which you can edit at that stage before it goes into the production stage, which is going to cost us more because we're producing AI assets. And the second stage is never posting them directly to our social platforms. Everything is reviewed by us to quality control it. So those are the two most important points in the process for us to give feedback and actually make changes and make sure they're up to standard and delivering value to our audience. So effectively what we're looking for here is leverage. We want Claude to give us the leverage. Claude does the 80%, ideally the stuff that is repetitive and that you don't want to do anyway, like the topic research. And then you do the 20% that actually adds value to the workflow. That's where we want to be spending our time. That's where we need to put in those human in the loop checkpoints. So that is it. That is the 4. Give it your context, get it off your laptop, let it handle those big jobs, and then build safety checkpoints for you or your users to actually go through and vet the quality before things are output. If you enjoyed this one, you'll for sure love our 14 Genius superpowers that 10x your Claude Code quality. So watch that video next. So I'll see you in that video next.